Hey everyone, welcome back to CryptoCache. Thank you so much for joining me here. I hope you're having an amazing day. We're going to take a look here at Bitcoin, see what's going on, of course, and help us understand best practice, big picture. We're going to talk a little bit about hidden bullish divergence as well as, well, take a smaller look at the time frames. In other words, 15-minute, kind of see what's going on with these movements here because I think you need to be aware of a few things going on right now. So that being said, not a financial advisor, love teaching people how to trade. Hopefully you can learn something here today. My goal is to help you become a better trader. So hopefully, if you do learn something, I've done my job. If you want to learn more, become essentially more self-sufficient, CryptoCache.tech is a website, link in the description below. If you want to, join my community and, be part of an esteemed group of amazing people, by the way. I got some really cool folks there. And then furthermore, too, also, I have sent out signals for every single trade that I take, as well as, of course, my trading academy, so you can become a better trader. All right, all that's included there. So take a look at that at your own time, CryptoCache.tech. So take a look here at Bitcoin. Here's the thing we need to understand. We're still stuck under the 50-day simple moving average, right? So until we're back up above that, kind of a break above 40,200 preferably, but just say 40,000 would be extremely important. We may see that here soon. Today was a bit of a red, start, but we'll look at the smaller time frames to identify that. But for now, we're under the 50-day SMA, and we're still under the 50-day SMA on the 4-hour as well. So there's a couple of time frames that we're not quite there yet, but I think we're getting there. And I'll explain what I mean by that. Big picture here too. Let's go ahead and take a look at that hidden bullish divergence. I want to explain that. Let's go ahead and look at a clean chart here and just kind of show you it is on a larger time frame. And if you're not familiar with hidden bullish divergence, what that basically just means is that an indicator such as the relative strength index will be showing lower lows essentially, or just lower points on the indicator, whereas you have actually higher highs or higher lows in most cases on the time frame itself. So in other words, what I mean by that is probably best just to go ahead and give you an example. If you see here, we got this ascending type of pattern occurring from last year till now. So obviously you see we wicked down back in May 17th. That week was pretty rough. And then of course, we had this lowest point here, roughly about 31,000 as a close approximate on the weekly close. And then we see this ascending pattern just working its way up, right? That's extremely important because we are overall bullish in the grand scheme of things, right? We're still making higher highs and higher lows. All right. You look at that and then you compare that, of course, with the RSI. You can see we have this, what is referred to as a hidden bullish divergence, where the RSI is effectively decreasing, right? We're seeing lower highs, essentially, or correction, I'm sorry, misspoke. Lower lows effectively here, whereas we're seeing higher lows on the time frame. That's considered a hidden bullish divergence. And what that basically just means is that we're having more selling pressure now than before, and the closer to 30 we get in the RSI, the better likelihood of the price increasing stronger from there, because it's considered to be oversold right now, right? So on the weekly time frame, right now, Bitcoin is considered to be oversold, whereas previously at 30,000, roughly, it was not considered to be as oversold at that time, right? So that transition, that push to the downside on the indicator, but the push to the upside on the price really gives us the indication that the likelihood of it going up from here is much higher than it going lower. Problem is, this is on the weekly time frame, right? So a lot of things can happen in 1 week. So if you have a tight stop loss, you'll get stopped out. That's why you might see, if you are in my community, I'm sending out signals for trades that have a very large stop loss. In other words, like probably about a 10 to 15% difference in price below that, because the simple fact that we could experience a significant increase or decrease. You see some of these candle wicks here recently, they're very volatile. Okay, so again, just something to be mindful of. I just want to throw that out there, kind of preface with that, because I think that's an important thing to understand. And we'll go ahead and work our way down here for the traditional time frames as well, help you get perspective. So once again, on the 1 day, we're under some key level resistances, right? But on the big picture, weekly, we got the hidden bullish divergence. Very good stuff in that sense. However, at this point right now, we are still stuck under the 50, which is synonymous with 40,200. Okay, so 40,200 to close above that would be phenomenal. We'd love to see that. It'd be a great start, to kind of push this trend in the upward direction like it has been doing. But the interesting thing here, and this is kind of an interesting thing, is it just that we're basically we're printing lower highs and lower lows. All right, so we can't overlook that. That's another reason why a break above 40,200 would be very helpful. That we can potentially try to break the most recent high of 42,000 as a close approximate and start making higher highs again. But for right now, there's no doubt that we are still making lower lows and lower highs on the 1 day, and that's not necessarily a great thing. But we're still ascending higher with this wedge type of pattern. So again, they're kind of conflicting, so to speak. So as soon as we can break above one of these SMAs or the RSI, for example, 50 on the RSI, then we'll be in much better shape. Okay. Again, we're still kind of on the wrong side of the fence, but we're getting there. We keep knocking on that door, and I think the more times we push and try to hit that, the more likely it is to occur. Another thing too, I just noticed here as well, of course, we can go ahead and just mark this here. The next couple of days, we could expect a breakout to the upside. In fact, it might even come tomorrow. Tomorrow, 3/16 at 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You can see, or you'll be able to watch live, of course. We're going to be streaming it live as a community. And what that is, that basically there's going to be the interest rate hike. If it goes up by a certain percentage, just say I think under, or goes up what we were expecting, 0.25%, then I think we're going to expect kind of a bullish type of scenario where the price will probably continue to push up, because I feel like we should see that already have been baked in. If it's much higher than that, for some strange reason or another, then we probably see a shift in momentum to the downside. So we're going to watch that live as a community and see how that happens. It's going to be interesting, but suffice to say that's going to occur tomorrow, the official announcement at 3/16. So just be mindful of that. That could shift things in a different direction. If it's good news, probably going to go up. If it's bad news, probably going to go down. And that's just kind of the way it goes. But it would make sense here that we have this type of pattern here where the price would break to the upside, more so because of all these resistances holding the price in place. It's going to have to break out soon. Here's another resistance as well we got to be mindful of, is the 50-day SMA. See this guy here? It is essentially, it's essentially telling us here that we have a resistance level. And that resistance keeps getting rejected right at about 39,300. Okay. So just keep in mind that's holding the price action down. Yes, it broke above, but broke right back down below shortly after. These are the peaks and valleys I was talking about that I want to kind of help cover with you. But generally speaking, right now, this is not a terrible situation because we have good momentum. We're only about 2 or 3 candlesticks into this push, and there's a likelihood it could continue higher. Again, that is a big thing there, of course, and just something to understand that getting above that moving average would be extremely important. Okay, so first step in the right direction is to close above, just say 39.4 or 39.5. Then furthermore, we get that to translate over to 40,200 on the 1 day, and we'll be in really good shape. But we are breaking above 50 on the RSI right now. That's extremely good news. We like to see that, and that's essentially just something that you want to kind of be able to witness. Okay. Now, ultimately, right now at this point, I would say the 4 hours it's a transitionary time frame, right? We don't have a significant MACD convergence. We got a bounce, which is great. But we don't have like a firm indication that, hey, we want to go long right now. The thing that tells us we want to go long is the fact that we have the 1 hour Ichimoku cloud breakthrough. And this happened yesterday, as a matter of fact, when we decided we took a position as a community at 38,800. So we waited for the price to come back down to 38.8, and our first profit target would be right around 39.4. So ultimately, we're looking pretty good shape here to get that to occur. But again, I provided a large stop loss, a stop loss very low, to kind of work with the market right now. Because again, the market is crazy, so be careful in how you actually set your profit targets and your stop loss targets. You should have tight profit targets and large stop losses. Because again, we are actually having this ascending type of pattern that hasn't broke yet. And until it does, we can kind of assume the price will slowly increase higher. All right, and we're basically just channel trading. It's a range trade from, within a specific range. Right now, it's trading somewhere in the range of about 37,000 upwards of about 40,000. Okay, so work within that range, correct? All right, so anyways, just something to kind of note there, but with the cloud right now here, it's basically telling us that we don't have a firm buy signal just yet because the fact that the lagging span is within the price action, for one, and for two, we have the conversion line below the baseline. So those are basically two signals or signs that we probably should have sold our position a little while ago. Obviously, again, this is an indicator that's very conservative. When price goes sideways like this, you're not going to find a lot of buy signals. And when you take them, you probably want to be better off holding on to it because at this point in time, we're still above the cloud. And that's the most important support level for me personally, is to be above the cloud when you take entry. That's check number one, the most important thing. And that's why we decided to take a position yesterday. All right, so again, that's just kind of how that works there. Let's take a quick look at the 15-minute. And just something I wanted to note is how volatile this price action is. It's kind of ridiculous. First of all, this was a weekend. Not a lot happened over the weekend. But yeah, as soon as the market opens, boom, Tank City. It goes straight down, comes right back up again. We think it's going to go up and break out. Hits rejection right here at about 39,000 900, and then comes right back down. Now it's working its way up again. Wouldn't be surprised if it hits this resistance and shoots straight down again. It's just crazy. I wouldn't say it's difficult to trade because this is, once again, range trading. It's working itself within a range and it's staying there. But for the most part, it can be tough if you have tight stop losses, which I would recommend maybe a looser stop loss in this kind of climate, because we have an established direction, right? Until that direction changes, we got to kind of work with the anticipation that it's going to continue to slowly increase. That should factor into your trading. But if you have a tight stop and you see these little shifts in momentum here, like this right here, for example, that was a 3% shift in 15 minutes. That may not seem like a lot, but that's a tremendous amount when you have a stop loss at 2% or 1%, for example, right? So again, keep your stop losses a lot looser than it might feel initially comfortable, because we're in an established trend. That trend is established until it breaks. You can kind of anticipate that the price is going to keep going sideways and up for now. All right. So again, just something to kind of consider. That's essentially what we're looking at there. But that hidden bullish divergence to me is probably the most important thing to take away here. Because yes, we have these little, these little patterns that are forming on shorter time frames, but that bigger time frame really tells us that we're more likely to continue to progress upwards, whether or not it's super slow or fast, before we go down, right? At least, again, there's no, don't get me wrong, there's still potential for the price to go down. But if you look at the big picture and you kind of see this overall trend, we're still making higher highs and higher lows, and we're still in good shape, okay? So hypothetically, we repeat the same behavior here. By next year, we would have went up to about 70,000 and it came back down to 40,000. We'll still be making higher highs and higher lows essentially in that regard. All right, so again, hopefully that makes sense to you and I explained things correctly. If you have questions about that regarding, the hidden bullish divergence or whatever, let me go ahead and explain. Feel free to message me and I'll be happy to try to elaborate. But I hope you have a great rest of your day. Thanks again for listening, and we'll look forward to seeing you in the next video. And again, if you want to become a community member, CryptoCache.tech is the website, link in the description below. Take care. We'll see you soon. Bye-bye.